Hello, everybody. I got on and paid my respects when he passed. I couldn't talk, didn't want to talk at the time. Wanted to see what everybody else had to say and get the story and make sure everything was what it was. I never knew a time in my life where there wasn't guitars in the house. My father played, my brother played, everybody played. Dad had people, he was in the Air Force, so he had people come over to the house all the time, and they played, a bunch of people. So I never knew a time there wasn't a guitar in the house. There's at least always two. And so I could play early on, but it wasn't until we all seen Kiss on the Midnight Special and they made videos back then. They wasn't like MTV videos, but they made videos. They just recorded them playing, and you would see that late at night and stuff, and in the Midnight Special and other. And believe it or not, Kiss was on some talk shows during the day back in the middle 70s. And Tom Snyder, we caught all that. And then when Phantom of the Park come around, we loved it though. It didn't matter what it was or how good the movie was. It was cheap, but it was cool. And it wasn't until then till I knew I wanted to pick up something and do something with it, because it was exciting. It was, it was Ace Frehley and doing all his crap. And so somebody that goes that far back in your life, you can't help but, always guitar players have always been one of our big heroes. For heroes, one of our legends dies, it's been kind of like losing somebody to a guitar player. It's like losing a brother or something. It's crazy. So we're going to lose a lot more. That's the way life goes. So a lot of people are going to say a lot of things, bad things, good things, and in the end, it doesn't matter. He did what he did, and he made his mark, which is a lot more than a lot of us do in life, right? But, he was the first. Of course, then about 77, it started, we all kind of moved on to the big stuff, Led Zeppelin, AC/DC. When I first heard AC/DC, that was it for a long time. We moved on. The Allman Brothers got into Southern rock, and I started playing more, and then other things took over. But it's always been a part of my life, in and out. There's always acoustics around. Dad they played acoustics, but every now and then, because he had money, he would dabble in. He'd find an electric for trade somewhere, and usually, like, we had a 67 Les Paul come to the house back in the 70s. And back then, back in the 70s, people didn't think that much about it. They did, but not like they do now. And they didn't know anything about intonation. They thought there was something wrong with the guitar. And like a lot of them that come through the house that went back out the door, they'd be worth a fortune today. They got traded off for cars and guns and whatever. And Dad'd get another electric, something wrong with it, because they didn't know anything about intonation. And so they didn't know. And I was too young at the time to know. Of course, I know now. But eventually I learned. And so Ace was always, that was the start. It was Ace Frehley. And so that was another one that went kind of hurt real bad, My sister hollered across the house. Ace had passed away, and I was like, oh shit. What do we do now? So Godspeed. Sure are going to miss him. All right. See y'all later.